Welcome back to the Telosive EV podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very special episode because we're all here.
Finally.
Very happy to
They
see
said
you.
it couldn't be done.
It is possible, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to be a part of the all-wheel drive club. All three of us sporting dual motors.
Did you finally convert to a dual motor all-wheel drive?
I'm also happy you came to the. You're now more akin to me and Mike's age of our vehicle, so you get all the creakety wear and tears. And I watched your comparison video, and the only thing I cared about you mentioning, which you did very early on in the video, was the scrolling wheels, because I am victim to that, going between mine and my wife's car, and when I touch hers, I go ha. Every sudden I go, I can't
really
do it.
Hot.
It gets really
super hot.
Yeah. That's the only thing I cared about you talking about. It's like, don't make me look like a wimp.
No, there's a lot of changes, honestly. It's surprising.
I never noticed about the white trim. You did a side by side. I never paid mind about the interior connection of it for the white trim inside.
I noticed it the moment that they changed it, Randy. And I was very upset. And by very upset, I was mildly perturbed. But otherwise...
You're not a white interior guy.
No, but it's the fact that they took away more white in the white interior, made it black, is something that seems a little bit controversial to me.
Yeah.
I prefer the look of the beam continuing into the door, though. I think that looks better than the beam just going straight into a block of vegan leather.
Vegan leather.
Is it even vegan leather?
Owner's bias.
It's more plasticky feel, but yeah, I guess so. Anyways, so this car is still in the shop, Drew.
Actually, no, I was lying earlier. At the time of recording this, it's what is today? Wednesday? Yeah.
Yes.
I picked up the car yesterday evening. So we have Pearl back from the shop, all fixed up. The loaner was dropped off, but I just wanted to feel like I was an all-wheel drive owner for a minute there. So good.
Boo, get out of here.
Lying to us. Stop lying to us, man. You keep hiding and concealing information from us.
Oh, you have no idea.
We're gonna find out he's the reason Fisker's gone now.
Right. It wasn't Marquez, it was Drew.
It was Drew all along.
Single-handedly.
It was the Fiskers we made along the way.
You know the oceans they had to cross? Okay. I'll stop.
It was chapter 13 bankruptcy that they filed for, right? Pretty much like the second bankruptcy filing.
Is there another?
There's 11 and 13, I believe.
Good question.
Chapter 11, chapter 13, chapter 12. I didn't get that far in the book, so I don't know.
What's it? I missed you, Randy. I missed you.
I know.
You haven't gone too long from this podcast, man. Or at least I haven't been on a podcast with you in a while. How are you?
I mean, even the recap we did last week feels so long ago for Dub because it's been a really long week. So for me, it feels like I haven't seen you guys in a month.
It has felt like a long time.
Yeah.
It's chapter 11 to answer your question, Mike.
Well, there's two different forms of the chapters.
Is it like first degree and second degree murder? Does one outweigh the other?
I believe so.
One was premeditated bankruptcy.
one was bankruptcy out of passion.
This is my favorite headline from Electric, though. As soon as Fisker declared bankruptcy, Lucid immediately applied for the trademark on Ocean.
Really?
They just swept in. They're not wasting any time. They were holding out for Ocean, I guess.
To be fair, it is in their language for all their models. Air,
Gravity, Ocean.
Sapphire?
I just don't know why you want to name a car Ocean after the Fisker debacle.
Air, Gravity, do like rain or something.
That's a good one.
Puddle? But make rain as an REIGHN, rain, or no HGN,
like
just
reindeer.
Power. That too. I was thinking like power.
It'd be like if Randy was like, guys, I actually want to start an EV company, and I'm gonna call it Lordstown. It's my idea that I'm pitching.
Insanity.
I don't think you can, because I think Land X technically owns the name Lordstown. So,
well, who owns Ocean? Why is Lucid applying for it? Apparently not Fisker. I don't know.
Insanity.
You really want me to press the button, don't
I do. Do it. Just do it.
He just keeps on egging it.
I've had no time to add new sounds to this. I'm sorry.
Insanity.
But...
Insanity.
Oh, it's on loop. Whoops.
It's on loop and very much so quiet. It feels like it's a small voice in the back of my head just saying insanity.
The Craig voice is back.
No, there wasn't a soundboard. That's just us losing our minds. But
so are we?
Insanity.
Is it? I guess this is just to get back on the bandwagon of what Randy brought up. Not all of the EV companies can succeed. So this is something probably not to be celebrated, but at least does it feel like this is something as a tale of caution that a lot of EV companies can, or at least startups can observe and follow?
An explosive tale.
Or not follow.
Oh no.
Where's my soundboard? Let me let me shame this guy with sounds.
I think it was deserved from what I've read personally. Adam's Everything EV or whatever it's called. Great channel that I forget the name of all the time. Detailed very specifically everything that was going down at Fisker. Because they've declared bankruptcy, I feel more comfortable sharing that I've had a source that was a fan of the channel for a while that's been telling me a lot of the things going on internally. And from what was said, it was horribly mismanaged. There was a lot of nepotism, putting people in charge of things that were not qualified, and people that didn't take advice that was given to them that could have probably saved them. And yeah, I think that the best value we get out of Fisker is how not to run an EV startup company. Like, here's what not to do. And
they got good dance
there
moves.
Were they public?
We gotta find that. They emphasis on were.
Yes, they were actually.
I believe they were delisted, right?
Right. So
I think I'm
takeaway for me is don't go public. Don't go public. Whoa.
Sorry. Hold on a second. Don't go public. Period.
Is that what my studio looked like? All right. Don't go public. Just like whoa. Dun. Dun, 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 dun,
There he is.
For audio listeners, we've got Heinrich Fisker along with some employees doing some trendy dancing in front of an ocean while it rotates behind them.
The music is the SpongeBob with the jellyfish dancing.
Followed by Elon replying to the video saying
cringe. Insane.
Nothing's more ironic than Elon saying cringe.
Isn't he the one that also danced at a delivery?
Yes. No, at the shareholder meeting like a week ago.
The best one is Trump doing his where he's choking the goose.
That's never a great way to start a sentence, Randy. You should never lead.
Trump choking
the best
goose. One. None of those words.
Wait, was Mike the only person who watched the Tesla shareholder meeting this?
I think so.
All I know is my stocks went up. I was like, closer to my exit plan. I have a number before I cash out. Just get me closer to my exit.
Exit. You know, I heard Elon likes the letter X. Let me tell
right.
You
well, I'm exiting this.
Pokemon go to the polls.
That cost her the election, I think.
Oh, that you'll be in jail.
So what did you think of the shareholder meeting? I caught the highlights. I was busy at the moment, so I wasn't
missed
a lot of information.
It was all the same information that or Elon and the rest of the company has been
Tweeting?
Well, pretty much, yeah. Either tweeting or reiterating all about robotaxis and Tesla bot now apparently being a somewhat helpful battery organizer at Giga Texas, I believe, with the 4680s, putting cells from a pretty much a conveyor belt into a little storage unit, and it's going super slow as well. But otherwise, there's a lot of cringy comments and questions, a lot of people adoring him. It seems like what I gathered from this, especially from how the shareholders voted, they're not really voting for Tesla as much as I can tell. They're more voting for Elon, in which I get that he is someone who does drive change because he's able to push very stringent and very aggressive timelines for a lot of things, maybe not robo taxis and all that, but a lot of other stuff. He can really ramp stuff up quickly. But just
I'm too old for this crap, man. I don't care what he does. I'm a numbers on the page kind of guy. I feel like I'm becoming more like you, Mike, where you're very analytical about things. I used to be more passion driven about this stuff. I don't care no more. The moment I found out my voting for him to you're not supposed to talk about religion or politics about what you vote for, but since I'm an open Buddhist and I also that was a joke. And I voted for him to not get his compensation. Bite. Yeah, I did it. And I realized how little my weight is on this whole matter.
I think that man should be paid.
I think he needs a wake-up call is what I think. That's what I think. I genuinely think. I don't hate him as a business operator. I just don't like how he runs the business as an operator.
That's very different. Two different things that you just said right there, Randy.
I know.
But yeah, I'm pretty much somewhat in some weird convoluted way. I think I'm in agreement with your statement where it's he's a very tricky person to like, in my opinion, for someone who is very aggressive on social media with his beliefs and his decisions and all that. But pretty much what I gathered, kind of getting the trains back on the rail, watching the shareholder meeting and listening to it, I guess, I didn't really gather a lot of logic from those that were asking questions of like good questions being asked for the purposes of the strength of the company. It was more of just people using their opportunity being at Giga Texas to say, hey, Elon, you changed my life. I love you. By the way, are you doing okay? It was never really.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what happened last year. And that's what I remember feeling like this is a waste of time. This just turned into Elon Con. Econ. It was not as in like con man. I just mean like convention. It just turns into the say whatever you want to Elon game. And I'm like, why do they keep doing these Q&As? They never go well. There's never any good questions. And it's always just like, I love you. And everyone's crying. And I'm like, what are we doing here?
At one point, someone was asking, can I bring my kids into the factory tours? You guys don't allow kids in the factory tours. And Elon's like, there's reasons why we don't, but I guess we could come up with a different factory tour for kids, I guess. The thing that was, I guess, the thing I wanted to put out there that was really the nail in the coffin for me, which is actually, it happened earlier in the shareholder meeting when they were reading off all the different proposals, and there's either pre-recorded, on call, or just in text statements, or I guess read aloud statements from Tesla representatives on those proposals and what those people had to say in regards to what they're proposing on the docket. And one of them bring up a really good point of Elon is stretched way too thin at this point. We can obviously tell from a lot of this, he's not paying enough attention to Tesla for us to give him this compensation package. And shortly afterward, everyone started booing. You can actually hear it on the mic. People were booing this guy, in which he was spitting nothing but facts and logic to me of
that's a bar right there.
Don't spread yourself too thin. If we want to actually get a lot of money out of this company, or at least gain a lot of interest or build up the company to bigger heights, don't have someone who's already stretched super thin to stay longer and then give them a whole lot more money just to ensure that, oh yes, we will get our robots and robo-taxis just because he's here, versus him leaving and then quote unquote pulling out all those assets for his own venture that he'll launch later for another X company. So that perturbed me a lot.
New phone, right?
Whatever it is, that's pretty much that particularly upset me. It was very much a concern, and people were booing it.
You didn't think it was an unfair question, but it was treated basically with bullying. It was like, how dare you suggest such a thing?
Pretty much I'd agree with that. It was, I get some of the proposals are a little bit too much, like, hey, everything needs to be reported and all that. It's like, no, we don't need to clog up a lot of our time trying to report everything in the workplace. I get harassment and all that. That makes sense to investigate those claims
already, and then they just want reports on reports, and it's like,
right. I don't think writing a report on a report makes sense. But
in the spirit of transparency, I will also side and publicly state, just because Randy did, that I also voted no. But I'm afraid just acknowledging that scares me, because I've seen how passionate people are about the comp package. And my 2-second explanation of it, because I don't want to talk about it that much, I'm not that interested in the subject, but my main rationale was the comp package was mainly based around the stock valuation. Am I incorrect in that? Is that how you guys understand it?
That's what it is.
The compensation package was built on Elon gets paid nothing unless the stock reaches this valuation.
Yes.
To me, I don't like that comp package. I'm not saying he should work for free. I'm just saying he's basically motivated to pump the stock.
Yes.
Above all else. That is purely the motive. It's not necessarily deliver this, deliver that. It's purely do what you can to boost the stock price. I don't like that as a compensation package. I think that results in really disingenuous, or at least overly optimistic claims. And this was way back in 2018, right?
Yeah.
So the icky vibe, we can argue whether or not it's what he actually believes. We'll never know, because we're never going to talk to this man, especially after today's episode. But what we'll never know, but I speculate, is that he is essentially motivated to tell people throughout all of 2018, throughout up till now, Tesla is going to be super valuable. Tesla is going to be the most valuable company in the world. Robotaxis are around the corner. The business isn't selling cars. The business is all about robotaxi revenue. We're going to generate so much value, so much income. And honestly, the comp package in its existing form would kind of explain the behavior of trying to convince people that robotaxis were around the corner, which is the side of Tesla's business I've always despised. It's like, stop claiming that you know when robotaxis are going to be ready, because you don't. And you keep proving year after year you don't know. You don't know. It's a good technology. It's good to pursue it, but stop trying to turn it into this, it'll flip all these switches and it'll be this infinite income generator. I'm like, no, it'll probably be like a Waymo, where it's a cool science project in a few cities, but telling people that you should buy it today because it'll make you more in the future. We've all expressed on this show how much we despise that pitch of like, don't tell people they're going to make money off of their car in a few years. That's so hypothetical, so speculative, and really we don't even know if it's legal, not even close to legal at this point. And all of that behavior of telling people, buy now, we're not a car company, this is a robotaxi company. I feel like all of that pushing makes sense with the motivation of, well, he's just trying to boost the stock price. I think the comp package, for one, I think Tesla's fine and he should just work on SpaceX and Twitter and Neuralink. I think running those 3 businesses in itself could easily fill 90 hours a week. I don't know why you need to throw Tesla in there when Tesla already has very talented, very capable people. And I keep coming back to the Tesla mission statement has been achieved. They have accelerated the transition. The SpaceX mission statement has not been achieved. Life has not been made multiplanetary. So I would say the company that has yet to achieve their mission statement is where he should be spending most, if not all, of his time. Tesla's fine. They'll be okay without him, even if he got abducted by aliens and went home or whatever it is tomorrow.
He went home.
Tesla would be just fine without him. I think. which is why I said, no, I don't think the CEO or the techno king or whatever should just be purely motivated to boost the stock price personally, because there's a lot of disingenuous ways to boost the stock price. If there is a comp package, it should be motivated on certain milestones that are more grounded, like delivering a certain number of cars or hitting certain production targets or delivering a certain level of robotaxis. I would prefer that kind of comp package.
Or even expanding our lineup.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And anything that's a bit more material than just boost the stock, which I think is super easy to be poorly motivated. And honestly, the part of him saying, you know, I might have to leave Tesla if I don't have ownership over certain, then I was like, okay, that makes me want to vote no, because I think you honestly should leave Tesla. I think Tesla's reached their kind of Tim Cook point where they need a sustainer in charge, not a rapidly what do you call it?
Elon,
try things and break things until and fix them. That's what SpaceX needs, not Tesla.
Elon, much like Steve Jobs, is good at being in survival mode. Where
yes, I think he thrives on it.
Bringing things from the brink of bankruptcy or destruction, or however you want to do that. Like that's something I've observed. That's something that him and Steve Jobs had in common about because they had such a very clear and persuasive focus on what the company needs to be and how to get to it. And then when you get to that point, you know, it's hard to leave the nest. I get that, but if anything, if I'm going to do that comparison between those two guys, then I'm going to compare the two companies, and Apple was a significantly more profitable, more successful, and more vibrant company in this current era under Tim's leadership, and Tesla leads their Tim Cook. Not okay. So everything you said about why you voted no, I agree with, and that's why I voted no. I was being a little more tongue-in-cheek and facetious when I was just saying he needs a reality check, but there is a hint of truth that, like, and also, what I mean by reality check is actually, I think you articulate it way better than me, is that I don't like that compensation strategy because it's short-term gains, and I'm not interested in short-term gains, and it's not because I'm in the hole. It's not because of anything like that. My belief in the company stems from the product, not the leadership of the product. It was the product itself. And Elon did a good job getting up to, I'd say, coincidentally, it was during COVID times, but when Model Y launched. At that point, when the sexy lineup completed, I was very indifferent about Cybertruck, just given that, like, I never thought of Cybertruck when I first became emotionally invested in the company. That I wanted the sexy lineup. I wanted that to come to fruition. That was what I put. That's where I voted with my dollar in a literal sense. Everything else was just, it felt like cool treats, but also a bit distracting from semi to Cybertruck to the ATV that, you know, whatever, to Roadster, all those other things. I was like, okay, these are cool. Just from an automobile perspective, these are neat products that you're introducing here. But at the times, I just get us to the Model Y, and then we can reassess. And that's when the stock was its healthiest. And if we were to go then by those metrics of this compensation package I don't agree with, then I'm like, all right, all this makes sense. But then it's like it's the whole getting stretched thin part that bothers me, and why it's like maybe I want him to step down, not because he hasn't done good for the company, but because, at least through my perspective, there is a clear vacancy of opportunity and growth within Tesla now in this new era, post sexy lineup. I don't care about the master plan part 4. I don't care about that. Like the marketing part of it, I don't care. I now care about, you know, they're not in survival mode anymore. They are a Fortune 500. They are one of the most highly valuable stocks out there. It's one of the strongest brands that's out there, and they've done it. They've made it. I'm not interested in sitting on our laurels of like, oh, look at all these things that we've done. Now it's like, now what? Through my perspective and why I was kind of cranky, I think the last time all three of us reconvened together, we might have had this conversation. If not, it was within the last 2 months. My vision of Tesla now, and why I feel like my vision doesn't align with the company's, and my genuine reason of wanting to exit my investment is because I believe that they need to focus on the network now. I believe that they need to focus on everything with the supercharging network.
Agreed. And not fire everybody.
And not fire everybody. I genuinely believe now that we've opened up NACS and it's open for everybody, I see not just our own sustainability from a profits point of view, but also just showing the world that EVs are safe and are okay, and we can have just about at some point as many charging stations as we do gas stations because of adopting NACS and able to use other brands, networks that they have there. It's no different than going to. I love that we have StreamYard. You could just do this now for our YouTube watchers, but that you could just go to a Tesla station or anywhere else the same way you either go to Chevron or Shell or Arco or AMP. Like they at that point, it's just, can you get your thing? Can you charge your car? Can you get your product back on the road? And I feel for them being a battery company and a darn good one at that the attention needs to be focused on that. And they don't seem to be interested in that. Not to the degree that I feel it should be. And that's why, for that and so many other reasons, that's why I'm out. Barbara from Shark Tank. And for those reasons, I'm out.
Right. Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
last thought, I just want to say it's been 5 years since I've had my Model 3 now.
I was going to bring that up. I was like, congrats on 5 years, Randy. Jeez.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Was that a Tesla notification?
Yes.
Send you that?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It looked almost Halo fontish with the 5.
I love it.
Yeah. That's great.
I had time to now just even seeing that and reflecting the last 5 years that it kind of encompasses my overall thought with like everything we've just been talking about, because like I love the product. I genuinely do. That was such a cool last stretch thing for me as a milestone for me to want to do. And I've made a younger version of myself happy. I did that for him. And the fact that like it doesn't even feel like it's been 5 years. Not all of it's COVID related. It feels that like those updates. It's my Model 3 has changed fundamentally how I look at vehicles forever going forward. I expect every vehicle to treat me as well as my Model 3 has. And so the second vehicle being the Model Y, look at that. Yeah. The second vehicle being the Model Y was out of a place of comfort and trust within the technology, the battery cells, and the software updates that I got. It still feels like a new vehicle. Sure. Okay. I don't got USB-C, but I got wireless charging, aftermarket thing anyway. I don't use it anyway. That's a handsome looking baby there. But yeah, I love
stalking you now.
Yeah. I love the last 5 years with my car, and I can say confidently that, look at that. I could say that was such a cool time too. I could say confidently the Model 3 can easily fit my life for another 5 years. Whether it does or not will be, based off how the house kind of evolves in my settlement here in Colorado. But as a worst case scenario, or just maybe as a best case scenario, even depending on how you look at it, I can see easily getting another 5 years out of this car before I even feel like I should do something with it. And so having a 10-year goal with a vehicle is something I've never actually felt with a vehicle. It starts to show its age around now in the next 2 years. It's like, ooh, this is getting kind of rough. Because most of the time people are like, I just paid off. Most people get a 72-month loan. I just paid off my car. Now it's time to get another. Wrong headspace, but I've seen it in live action in my life, and I've before I understood financial literacy, I too would have thought that way. So at this point, having a car that's like what? No gas, no transmission fluids, no oil, no windshield wipers. I haven't even. My brake pads are so healthy because of the regen braking that happens that it's basically, it feels like a 10-month-old, usage of the brake pads. So new tires, windshield wipers, and windshield fluid is all I've ever needed to do with it. Look at that. Beautiful. EV is the future, man. Like in every sense, like every car needs to be like these two handsome, what are they, siblings? Are they, how would I consider the Y and the 3? They're definitely of the same.
Yeah, they're siblings, sure.
Yeah. I will never, I honestly, I can say
one's better though.
Obviously the Model
You're
Y.
right. Thank you guys.
Just like siblings.
You will never hear me say something bad about the vehicle itself. I will critique out of love for improvements or even in the leadership itself, but never the vehicle itself. It has been the longer you hold it and hold on to your vehicle, the more money you save. So yeah. Wow. 5 years. That's it. I'm done. All right, you guys talk now.
Well, I'm coming up on it. I got one more year for 5 years with mine. And then Drew would be 1 year, I think, behind that as well. I think, right?
2.
Yeah, I'm behind everybody.
Well,
2 years. Yeah.
Even still, I will say, trying to transition a little bit more to improvements as well over time. It's interesting I didn't think about this until recently, just the amount of software updates that all three of us have observed through Tesla's existence with at least the Model 3 and the Model Y, and being able to see from what was at humble beginnings from when we first started with our vehicles, I guess, to what it is today is definitely drastically different in regards to what it looks like. How I'm tying this in is I got the update. I kind of staved it off for a while, but I got the update for the new UI, and it's pretty nice. So it typically, for those that are watching this, it typically looks like this if you don't have it in full self-driving, where it's pretty much the almost 2/3, 1/3 partition, where the 1/3 has the visualization while the 2/3 has the map. But now there's a nice little updated route on the bottom for your ETA, end trip, or add additional stops and all that. And I like that because it has an updated traffic flow, or on your route, here's where you'll expect slowdowns in terms of like a timeline, which I greatly appreciate. And even with the media controls, you now actually have a lot more rather than just play, pause, skip, and you tap on it for menu or whatever. You're actually able to, for podcasts, what's it called? Skip forward and skip back 15 seconds or anything like that. Or
good.
Even change.
And you're on the Intel processor, so you're getting these changes without AMD, which is
right.
Nice.
And which is what I love about it is I was looking at your updates, Drew, and your thoughts on it, or at least listening to it. I thought, yeah, I don't really like the static screen of when it's parked and it just shows your vehicle there. But at least getting kind of the faded map in the corner, along with the change in the UI for where things are located, along with a lot of great features being maybe not great features, but great tools coming up from menus that you'd have to tap through, now just being ready at a single tap and a single glance is a great update to have. And that's why I was at the very beginning of this wonderful lecture bringing up when I first got my Model Y, it didn't even have any of that. It didn't have any of this or anything close to it. It was pretty much all built in, almost on the hotbar on the bottom, in which I do miss the fan button on the bottom, but otherwise,
me too.
Being able to control that or swipe that was great. Now it's just gone. It'd be nice for that to return. But the media controls have definitely seen a drastic benefit over time. and just being able to use it is a lot more fluid than it used to be.
Good. I'm glad everybody got some upgrades from that refresh. It wasn't just the AMD people. Sweet. Yeah, I got my car updated while it was in service, and it's I think there's some bugs in it because normally the headlights go off when you walk away from the car and it's locked, and they didn't. And I was like, that's weird. But this was the update where they said the matrix LEDs are supposed to move with the road. And from what I can tell, they're not. Maybe I
do they move, or do they just shut off, or do they do both?
Well, they don't physically move, but matrix LEDs are like a projector, so they can project more in certain directions than others. And they said that I see settings, it's there, like on adaptive headlights, and it's supposed to move with the curve. I did notice the lights behave differently now on the freeway, which it did say in the release notes. Like when you have a long stretch in front of you, they beam out a bit more direct, so they can shine brighter further. Versus when you're on city streets. I was like, oh yeah, there's a little bit of a difference, but I haven't noticed any of the curvature yet. Maybe it's only when you're on a really windy road you can see the difference, but I'm really hopeful we eventually get that update that they already have in Europe where it masks out cars and pedestrians and stuff, so you can just blur high beam and low beam together. It's like, that's so cool. Why can't we have that? Now even the Rivians have that. That's part of the refresh.
Right. That would be nice to have. I recall, was it on Subarus, at least with my mom's, maybe like 10 years ago, actually, or 7 years ago with her Subaru Outback, the lights actually rotated and moved with curvatures, which I thought was very interesting on how they somehow got that passed through the NHTSA and everything else. And being able to have a moving headlight on a vehicle was surprising and also a neat feature. And I wondered, why doesn't anyone else have this? But it's most likely a very expensive thing to include in your vehicle.
Probably. Yeah. It's interesting how much can change via software on cars now, for sure. But also, speaking of Fisker, yeah, it's like that can kill you if done poorly. So it's all in the execution, right?
Right.
Execution. Who's next? Who's on the chopping block?
Are we looking at all the photos of Matrix headlights?
You are. I was going to say, this is a funny picture, Mike, because it shows it is a rare occurrence when you actually have FSD turned on.
Are we really going to do this again?
I was going to see if you had your memes queued up, ready to
go. That never went public.
I know.
That meme never went public because.
But I was going to ask, speaking of FSD, have you seen any of the footage of the 12.4 release yet? Either of you?
Is that not what we're on? We're not on 12.4?
I thought we were, because on my morning drive, when I took these photos that I was showing before of the new UI, it was taking about almost a minute plus for it to tell me to jiggle the steering wheel. But I didn't realize that in the moment, because 30 seconds passed after me counting my head. I thought, do I have 12.4? Is it not nagging anymore? No, it nagged 30 seconds later. But is there something drastically different with 12.4 that maybe me and Randy are missing, Drew?
I think it's the execution of how they got rid of the... So for those who aren't aware, 12.4 gets rid of the steering wheel nag. So you don't have to keep your hands on the wheel. And if it works, ideally, all that's required is you keep your eyes on the road. That's the only thing you have to do to keep it active now. The execution is kind of the hilarious part to me, which is, as far as FSD is concerned, nothing is as simple as it sounds with every stage of this development.
Never.
Because I remember for years, I swear, for years I kept saying, I would be more interested in paying for FSD if they got rid of the nag. Like, that would instantly make it a lot more desirable if I could just sit there and stare at the road, and that was it. And yet here it comes. It's only gone to the special elite testers, the YouTubers, which I still really don't like that system. It's like, okay, make the YouTubers have the newer version so it convinces people to subscribe, but then they don't get that version. I don't know. It makes me feel icky, but some of my favorite channels got the 12.4 update and quickly discovered, oh, there's a bad way to get rid of the steering wheel nag. Like, I thought it would just be this simple thing of,
I'm scared.
Just don't yell at me when I don't put my hand on the wheel. What's the big deal? Just get rid of that. Boom. This is instantly a way more usable, way more fun feature. I can just sit there. Well, with this version, they have baked into the code a way for it to detect hats, sunglasses, and then the eye tracking suddenly gets extremely picky, way more picky than it normally is, to the point now where people are trying to test out the feature, but of course they wear sunglasses, so it doesn't work. And it has a specific pop-up that says, sunglasses detected, keep hands on the wheel. And then other times it's even specifically coded in to detect, oh, there's a hat obstructing the driver's eyes. We can't show that. Whatever, or sorry, we can't drive without your hand on the wheel. So it's still incredibly picky while simultaneously trying to do the thing I've been asking for all along. And it's like, wow, I didn't think this would be as annoying as it was. I thought the steering wheel nag would make life easier. And from what when I first heard about it going out, I saw the hyperbulls hyping it up. Oh my God, they get rid of the steering wheel nag in 12.4. I just used it. It's amazing. All the Twitter accounts you can imagine I'm talking about. And then I'm like, okay, I actually have a big road trip coming up. Plus I, work in the Bay Area, so I'm driving a lot. I'm like, should I actually subscribe? Should I get FSD? Because I've really wanted this feature for a long, long time, to not have my hands on the wheel. And I started watching the videos of it in the real world, and I was like, oh wait, this is worse. It's like the amount of pop-ups and alerts they were getting. I was like, actually, I'd rather keep my hand on the wheel at that point. Like, you can't wear sunglasses.
My sunglasses are prescription. I need them. They're literally prescription.
Dude, I'm in a sunny place. It's kind of a pain in the butt to try to drive around without sunglasses on. And even then, even when people are driving around without them on, it's constantly pinging them, pay attention. And they're going, I'm looking right now. And it's still getting mad. You're not looking hard enough.
Look harder.
Look harder at the road. And everybody's trying to put their eyes in the center of the car. Open
Can I blink yet?
Can I blink? I swear I'm paying attention. I was like, this is worse. Somehow they found a way to make it worse than it is. So
somehow it returned.
Vision-based attention monitoring. Yeah, I don't get it. I was like, wow, literally every stage of this development is way more complex than I think. So now instead of a steering wheel nag, we have a eye tracking nag.
I think I'm going to lose my FSD capabilities then. Do you guys remember, Drew, even as far back as when you came down to visit me, do you remember my cabin cam being an issue? Like, it wasn't on?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that has rolled into whatever version I'm running now, and I can't even go into FSD because the camera is not working. And
oh my God.
Only if I set it off, only if I turn on FSD immediately, boom, boom, that maybe I can get away with it, and it will stay as is for the duration of my trip. But if I go out of FSD between there and my destination, it'll immediately go boop, 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 and tell me that my cabin cabin system failure, schedule an appointment if issue persists. And I was like, well, it's been like this. I call it a 2019 birthmark. It's just something my car came with, and it gives it character. I was like, I haven't serviced it yet. So it's a 5-year-old birthmark. I left it alone. But
how ridiculous is that, though? The car cannot drive because it can't see the driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't that feel so backward? I mean, even Wes on Tesla execs were complaining. Isn't it funny how when you're the only thing that can drive the car and there's no driver assistance features at all, suddenly the government gets really, really picky about you paying attention?
Yeah.
Oh,
they
no,
should pay
sorry.
attention more to all the drivers that are existing on the road today, because they're definitely not paying attention. I almost got ran into multiple times on the way home today, and it was quite stressful. And it would have been nice if they were on 12.4.
Yeah, I worded that backwards. What I meant to say was when you have no driver assistance features, they don't care if you're paying attention. Suddenly, if you have driver assistance features, some really cool, capable ones, they really care about if you're paying attention. That feels backwards to me. Like, if the car can drive itself, then we really need to pay attention to what the driver's doing. If it can't drive itself, who cares what the driver's doing?
Right. Yeah.
Welcome to reality. Everything's confusing.
It is.
Everything's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Oh, it is. I think there's already a lawsuit that's proceeding with Tesla's FSD claims. I saw in California. They're making progress. So we're not even saying hypothetically you could get sued from that. We are now straight up saying you are getting sued from that. So that's fun. But
yeah.
So now I don't think it's worth getting. I don't know. Do you think I should get it for a big road trip?
Not if it's out right. I mean, okay, well, if it's not out right now anyway, then no. Honestly, yeah.
I'm excited.
When you say big road trip, how big are we talking? Like,
well over 3,000 miles of driving would be covered with this referral perk.
And so you're not even paying anything out of pocket?
Well, indirectly I am, because credits used on FSD are credits taken away from free charging, which means money directly into PG&E's pocket. So I keep trying to remind people, credits are not free. Credits are just another form of payment. You use them on FSD.
They're not.
Okay, Dave Ramsey. You're stupid.
Public credits are no good out here.
Only money.
No, any credit spent on FSD is another way of handing cash to PG&E. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, well, so then this sounds like a credits issue. So let me say it like this.
I hate referral credits, by the way. Have I mentioned that?
Yeah.
No.
It's
between
so
now and when they all expire-ish?
That's way off. They don't expire till 2027 for me.
Or they change the referral system and then just lock him out of his credits.
That I wouldn't mind that, honestly, at this point.
To be honest.
At least the decision would be taken out of my hands. Yeah. But as long as I have these credits, I am now financially motivated to supercharge and not charge at home.
Yep.
As long as there's a financial incentive, I'm going to keep doing it, which I hate because I don't like supercharging I prefer charging at home, but I hate knowing that charging at home would cost more. It's that thought that's the obstacle in my head. So if that was removed from my choice and it was just like, oh, it's gone, I can't use it anymore, then I'd be like, okay, well then I'll charge from home. There's no financial incentive to supercharging now.
I would tell you, use the credits for FSD because they're kind of just sitting there regardless, and
they will be used on charging. To be
3,000 miles. I mean, that's coast to coast right there. That's more than coast to coast. So
pretty much, yeah.
I guess. I mean, what else are you going to use your credits for at that point?
Charging.
Between now and
definitely
whenever.
Charging.
Yeah, but
every last credit on charging.
I'm right there with you. It's up there. I was like, "Where's my phone?" It's up there. I'm in the exact same boat. But I'm asking the wrong question. When do you need to redeem to make this work? If you time it right,
not a factor because they don't expire until April of 2027. So I'm gonna run out.
No. I'm asking, when is your 1,600 mile trip? When is that?
The end of this month.
End of this month. Is there a chance we will see refinements, updates, or more info about FSD between now and then that might say, okay, it's fixing it, or does it look like it's just going to be a cluster mess?
It's possible. That's why I'm watching it so closely, because I'm like, if 12.4 gets good, right now it's on 12.4.1, but if 12.4.3 or .4 comes out and it fixes all the eye tracking crap and it's actually like stable and reliable, I'm like, do I want to do a whole road trip without sunglasses? Is that worth it?
No, that's annoying. You got to be comfortable. What's the point of comfortability if you're being yelled
at? The car can drive itself. It's so relaxing. Ow!
Yeah.
My eyes!
Especially driving through the desert. Nothing but reflective sunlight right into your eyes. It's wonderful.
Yeah. I need to find glasses that have little human eyes painted on the outside.
Right. And then are actually like slits, kind of like what they have up in the Arctic that are great sunglasses as well, because they only let them a certain amount of light.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably that.
Otherwise, it's like looking into the sun.
We should DIY some then, Drew. Let's do some arts and crafts. Bring back your Talos of Art channel that never existed.
You can't bring back what was never there. Yeah.
Make some eyeball glasses and all that.
Eyeball glasses. We'll call them 12.4 glasses.
There's a marketing thing happening here. I think you can sell it on Etsy or something. Be okay.
A modern solution. Oh, brother.
Yeah. So, Drew, how's Tello?
Great.
A Tello update. Is this what we're gonna do every single episode now? A Drew Tello
What
update?
Is this? They have a little Tello shtick every episode.
If you remember, Mike, we used to ask him the weekly update. The running shtick was, what car is Drew looking at buying? This week, is he still sold on the 3? Does he want the
It's
Y?
still the Aptera. I still want an Aptera yesterday.
I don't know. He was peddling the all-wheel drive with the 2020 year Model 3 in his last video. Totally changed his mind on it. So maybe he is entertaining a new vehicle.
The used prices on Teslas have made me go, okay, I don't think I'll ever buy a new Tesla again.
Facts. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
How much they've depreciated now, I'm like, oh, dang. Yeah, if I was in the market today, sorry, guys, the refresh Model 3 is great and all, but I would totally be buying a used 2021 Model 3 for 20 grand.
20,000. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can find them for sub 25. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I'll put up with the Intel processor and the rubber scroll wheels and the non-powered trunk. Heck yeah, for 20,000 easily, I would take that.
You can even get it cheaper if you can get your hands on one of those fleet model ones that are now being sold because it's past this thing.
They've got a lot of miles on them, but
miles don't equate the same for EVs. I think it was either you or Nick. I think it was you who told me that, because we equate miles to the engine. There is no engine. So
there's other things like control arms and ball joints and interior pieces. Especially a rental car. If it was used as a rental car, people just do not treat. Yeah, exactly. I'm not worried about the battery pack. I'll put it that way. I'm far worried about everything else that goes into it.
You don't want to pay $1,000 to $2,000 on an upper control arm, Drew?
I already have.
Did you actually have to pay for a new upper control arm on your 3?
No, but I did have to pay for new ball joints.
Okay.
And
wait, like out of pocket? That's not an insurance thing. That's a you thing.
That was after insurance. It would have been much more if I didn't use an insurance claim.
What? I'm missing something. What happened?
Did you not listen to?
I was just in a car accident.
Why you were not in a car accident?
No, I got through.
Wasn't my fault.
Tech, and I haven't watched last week's EV. I only got through tech.
Drew jumped the Grand Canyon with his Model 3. And after landing safely on the other side, he
landed in Niagara Falls, and
he landed on the other side of the Grand Canyon and accidentally ran over a cactus. But otherwise, he's fine.
It was the cactus.
Yeah.
What was that Daredevil called? The
Evil Knievel?
Evil Knievel over here going, and it's the cactus that took him out.
Yeah.
That's some Steve Irwin with the stingray thing. Out of all the things that killed him, it was the stingray.
You do not bring him into this.
It is still too soon.
It will always be too soon. You can joke about Steve Jobs all you want, but the other Steve.
No.
No.
That man,
he's
the reason why everything's gone to crap afterwards in the world. Is it a coincidence?
Every day has been worse.
You know what?
Harambe would have never died.
Steve Irwin would drive a Tello, probably. Eventually.
That's right. Amen.
Bringing it back around. But
I'm going to see if I can tweet that.
Hey, Jason, can I tweet this?
Be like how I was fired. From
honestly, getting Robert Irwin.
I'll watch that video.
Getting Robert Irwin interested in Tello might not be a bad idea.
Great idea. Yeah. To answer your question, Randy.
Yes.
Tello is very much like an iceberg. The 10% I can share is not, in my opinion, the most interesting. It is still very much all the stuff that I can't talk about is by far the most exciting, most interesting stuff.
Like the jet thrusters and the magic springs.
Oh my God. Apple approached Tello, didn't they?
Obviously.
No.
Are you going to Candace Owens me right now? I can't talk about that. Is that what you're going to do?
I think I could say that comfortably. Okay. They have not approached. No, they have not been approached by Apple. And honestly, good riddance. I'm kind of upset with Apple right now. You know, let's just say Apple's not interested in cars. That's safe to say, right? But
they're interested in their beautiful iPads. We know.
But as far as what Tello's working on, it's very hard as a content creator to see and hear about all these things and be like, oh, but we can't share. They're good things. That's all I'll say. Lots of good things.
I'm going to ask you something that you don't have to. It has nothing to do with Tello, but does any information of a sorts persuade you for Tello over Aptera?
I think they're very different. They're very different things.
I mean, as a next vehicle for the Ericsson family.
Well, just from a timeline perspective, the Aptera is much closer. I'll put it that way.
Sure.
Like the Aptera is in the manufacturing tooling stage.
Yeah.
And we want one really badly for the efficiency. I've expressed in the past, I don't necessarily need a truck. I'm not a truck owner at this point in time. My lifestyle has changed in the past, but I am very, very interested in the down the road 3-row Tello because I've got a lot of family members and I pick up a lot of
you do.
I'm doing
You're
tomorrow,
a good shuttle
actually.
Service.
I'm a shuttle service. Exactly. And there's models of the Tello that are not the launch edition, but there are models down the road that they plan on making that will make great people movers. So for my own personal needs, I'm far more interested in that model, but I know from the internal talks and the external talks that is not their top priority. Their top priority is the truck. They want to get the truck out. The truck's the main focus. I mean,
that makes me happy. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I think that's what most of their audience is most interested in anyway. As far as my own personal vehicle needs go, an Aptera would be perfect right now because I'm doing a lot of driving, and to do that in the most efficient vehicle possible so that my wife can continue driving the Model 3, right. It would literally be perfect. Like I would put up with a lot. Like I would put up with an Aptera that doesn't have lane keep or cruise control or CarPlay. Yeah, honestly. Kind of the solar's great, but at this point, I just want another EV because when I take the Tesla work, my wife has to drive the Sonata.
You still got it? I thought you got rid of that thing.
No, it's been our savior through this whole repair process.
Okay,
the Sonata's been our only car the past week.
If cost is obviously a factor here and saving some coin, is there a scenario where you would see yourself, either for you or for your wife, get yourself like a used Chevy Bolt or something even cheaper? Is that even possible? Is that something you can see happening?
We got very close to doing exactly that.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Because like, listen, the Sonata's you gotta take that thing to look at the flowers, watch the sunset.
Oh my god. And I could take care of the bunnies.
Yeah, that's how we feel about it. There's some more variables involved, like my younger sister's learning to drive in the Sonata, so it's a good test. It's a good car to do test driving with, because it's like, okay, if you bump this or break this, we're like, don't worry about it, it's fine.
Go ahead.
But yeah, the used prices of Chevy Bolts have been quite tempting.
Yeah. Okay, so what I was going to tell you is, as a used ICE vehicle owner myself, I can tell you that sucker just sitting there. We've had conversations about what we're going to do with that thing. I call my brother, hey man, I know your car's in the shop. Do you need to use ours? Do you want to just hold on to it indefinitely?
Please.
But my gosh, wait, that's what we're looking at now for the prices?
Oh, they get way lower than that.
Yeah, this is from a dealership new.
I was looking on Marketplace and seeing like 11,000.
Whoa. It was starting 30, right? That new was 30, wasn't it?
It was 26 a couple of years ago, but they don't make them anymore. So
my brain, so when I see 23, I was like, oh, that's a 7,000 off for a 2023. Yeah.
I was looking at older ones that had their battery pack replaced. That was kind of the sweet spot to me.
Good man.
It was like, this is a 2017 Bolt, but it had a new battery installed in 2022. And I was like, oh, well, that basically makes it.
Whew. Yeah, that makes it safe.
Yeah. Of course, it has to be safe. But yeah, I just think as a beater car that you don't care about like what happens to it.
Absolutely.
It might be perfect. But I don't know. We're saving up for our finances are kind of all thrown around because of my job, and there's a bunch of new goals we're trying to hit now. So I'm not sure if I want to buy another.
What the Seagulls do to you?
Now. Huh?
You said you're trying to hit some goals. What the Seagulls do to you is a very bad joke.
Oh, I get it.
Good job. Good job.
But Drew, would it still not be in your, excluding the Aptera, because I know how that is lined up, but would you not?
I want one now, please.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But buying a used EV is the next EV, period? Like, there's no need to buy another new EV, period?
I mean, with the fine print of I have Aptera points from the referral program.
That's why I said excluding the Aptera.
I intend to use them. Yeah.
Yeah, excluding.
But yeah, most likely we'd probably never buy a new EV again, unless I don't want to say never. I would just say right now it doesn't feel like a good idea. But I've changed my mind on so many things in the past, so I'm not going to commit to saying I definitely never ever will, because there might be another situation where, all the used offers are bought up and I really want the new one, and if we can afford it, then that's a different discussion. But
or you get another thing where, like Aptera, where it's really no cost to you minus like what, taxes or something? Like that's
it would affect our taxes, but it's worth it.
Then like if something like that comes up, then obviously I'm just excuse me. I guess what I'm saying is from the headspace of that, like if you need another vehicle to get around, and I'm trying to paint a scenario where the Sonata is just,
it's close. It's, last time it went up a hill, it was making some smells.
It almost came right back down and
pulled a Nikola right then and there. So, yeah, I'm what I think similar to the AirPods I'm wearing, we're kind of waiting for it to officially die, and then we'll make the decision.
Right there with you.
But yeah,
I can't.
We're still waiting. Right. We don't want to be the kind of people that have 4 cars. We really want every car we own to have a very specific and useful function.
Yeah. Sure.
So that's why I'm a little bit. And longevity, yeah. So we're a little bit hesitant with the Bolt just because it's a bit small and the DC charging. So I know it would be like a city car. It would specifically be so my wife could get around town to where she needs to go, and it wouldn't be a great road tripper.
It provides the creature comforts for in town as well.
Yeah, it would fill the job of what the Sonata is currently doing.
Without the smell.
In that sense too, like even if you got it as low as 11,000, that's still 11,000 more than what you're paying right now.
That's money taken away from other
things,
vehicles we would rather have. Like the Aptera, of course, is just more of the efficiency monster. It's got NACS. It would have the superchargers, and I'm super into the low energy consumption stuff, so that's why Aptera is top priority.
Would you guys?
I don't want the Bolt to take away from that.
I hear you. Yeah, it just kicks that rock further down the road. Where it didn't need to be.
Right.
Would either of you two? I've never asked you guys this question, so I don't know what your headspace is. Are you guys, either of you, okay? Post Tesla ownership of a vehicle, are you okay with having a vehicle that's NACS that you would have to pay some type of subscription or membership fee to utilize the supercharging network, or would you just work within your own means that doesn't involve a network, but then hopefully more NACS adapted charging stations are accessible then? What are your thoughts on that? I've thought about this a lot with my whole objective of trying to get a Rivian, and anyway, I have my own thoughts, but I've never heard any of your guys. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I'll answer quick because unfortunately I have to get going here pretty shortly. But I would probably, it would have to make sense financially, and because it likely wouldn't be like the referral program is now, where I'm supercharging all the time, I would probably subscribe on the months that I road trip. But if I am not road tripping, I would just cancel the membership. So basically, I would wait for the numbers to align. I would subscribe if it saved money, and then I would make sure I would stay on top of it. If I'm not supercharging this month, then I'm canceling the membership. That would be my...
So kind of like how you treat your FSD.
Yeah, except that I just never do.
Mike?
But
I would probably... That's a tough question. Because I'm one that doesn't like to jump on and off subscriptions so many times because it's just too complicated. I don't want to think about subscriptions. So being able just to stick on it and be on it and not worry about it is great, or just not be on it and not worry about it. It's also great. So I'm slightly on the opposite side as Drew in regards to that, but I do think I'd probably do. It's tough because we are in the Tesla supercharging ecosystem because we own Teslas. So it's back of our mind. We don't even have to think about it. We just drive up to a stall. We understand it's a bit more expensive, but we're not actively thinking, oh, well, what about the next place to charge and all that? Yeah. So companies like Iona coming in to provide charging wherever, and they'll have both the NACS and CCS port. But how long? Yeah, how long will it take for them to adopt that? Right. And same with like charge points and all that. Yeah, they're everywhere, but they're not the most speedy. So thinking about post Tesla ecosystem on adopting a Rivian or something else like that, it's tough to think about for me because I would want to pretty much just try to charge it at home and not worry about it.
Yeah,
definitely.
But us being Californians, me and Drew, we have to deal with the annoying factor of the power company PG&E in jacking up prices and all that. And so having to micromanage that level of what we put into our vehicle is something that is at least on my mind, maybe not every day, but at least every week I think about it. Probably twice a week because that's how many times I have to supercharge to get to work and back. Not in one day, but throughout the week. So I'm not too sure. I would think I would probably go the route of just charging at home and biting the bullet, and then probably going the Drew route of only activating the membership when I need to go on a road trip. But then otherwise, I'm not really going on road trips unless it's either a pop-up task where someone needs my help and they're far away. Then it's okay, I guess I have to go. But that rarely happens. So the other one's planned trips, so I can plan around it. So it's not as much of an issue. So yeah, I'd say the latter is pretty much just suck it up, charge at home, and then wait until it's time to go on a road trip, and then activate either the Tesla charging membership subscription or relying on Iona. But
yeah,
it's probably going to be at least 5 years until they build out a comprehensive amount of locations to not really think about it as much.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All
right. Well, we could keep talking forever. Write down any future questions you have, because unfortunately I got to go. But thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.